Boys and girls watching, in our last lesson, we talked about people that live in our what?
Home.
In our home or our?
Family.
Our family. That's the word I was looking for, Cyrus. Our family. Who lives in our family? We have a...
Mommy.
Well, what did we call her? The mother and a father. And then sometimes if there's more than one boy or girl that lives in the house, that means there are what? Brothers and sisters. And we all live in a house, or you could live in a place called an apartment or a place called a condominium. Now, apartments or condominiums are fun places to live. Maybe boys and girls watching, you're watching right now from one of those kind of places, and those are really neat. Those are fun. My grandmother, she used to live in a condominium, and it was on the beach. And we used to go and visit her, and it was on the 15th floor. And so I would have to get in an elevator. Most of the time when you live in a condominium, you have to go on an elevator to get to your apartment. Apartment is a little place that you would live, and there's lots of people that live in where you live. It's not just your house, like if you live in a house, like in my picture right here, that's just your house, you live there. In apartments and condominiums, you would have your own space, but there'd be lots of doors, and inside those doors are lots of little apartments that people live in. So it's like their own little houses, but you all live in the same building, and it's very tall and very big. And so it has lots and lots and lots of little houses inside this little condominium. That's the best way I can explain it. And so a condominium is really neat. And usually there's balconies. Remember we talked about a balcony before? Remember when we talked about going to Mexico and they have those balconies that people could sit on and look over and see the party going on down in the courtyard? Well, when my grandmother lived in a condominium, she lived on the side where you could see the beach. So we could sit on her balcony and we could watch the people swimming in the pool down at the bottom, and we could watch the boats go by in the morning and at nighttime. And it was so neat to see the moon reflecting off of the water at night. It was really neat. So most condominiums will have a balcony that you can go sit on, and you could catch some sun, or you could take a nap or read a book out on the balcony. And those are on a condominium. But this right here, or an apartment, those would be the kind of the same thing. When Mrs. Stewart was a little girl, I lived in lots of different houses in different places. But when I was really little, I lived in an apartment, and it was only 2 stories high. So there were people that lived downstairs and people that lived upstairs. So there wasn't any elevators. We just took stairs on those. So most apartments, they just have stairs. Some have elevators, but mostly condominiums will have elevators, and apartments usually just have stairs. But let's look right here at this house, because this house will kind of look probably like most of where you all live, like right here. In the house, you come to the front door, and there's lots of rooms in our houses, don't we? And this is like an apartment or a condominium too. You would have a place right here called the living room. What is that? A living room. The living room is where you probably, maybe if you have a TV, you watch TV in there. If you don't have a TV, maybe that's where you sit, and maybe some people have a fireplace there, or you just sit around there and mommy reads to you. I know in the living room is where we like to go, where we read the Bible to our boys and girls at my house, in our living room. So a living room is like a place where everybody would gather. People come to your house. They don't normally, when mommy invites people over, do they, all the big adults go sit in your room? No, they don't. They don't go sit in your room. They usually sit in the living room with mommy and daddy in that living room. And then there's this room right here that has a dishwasher, there's a sink, there's a refrigerator and a stove. What room is that?
A kitchen.
A kitchen, that's right. Should we play in the kitchen?
No.
No, there are things in there that we should never touch. There are things in the cabinets and things. If we should never play near the stove, whether it's on or not, because you just never know if it's been hot. Because sometimes mommy's been cooking on the stove, but then she's not cooking there anymore, and she's making things for dinner and getting everything ready, but the stove is still hot, even though it's not red anymore. It'll still be hot. So you never ever want to touch that stove. But there's a kitchen in your house or an apartment or in the condominium where you live. And then there's some other things. What are these called? Do you know?
Windows.
No, those aren't windows. They're cabinets. Cabinets. And usually inside cabinets is where you keep your dishes, or like Sometimes mommy might keep the cereal in the cabinet, or the peanut butter, or cans of soup and things like that in the cabinet. And sometimes she'll keep her really good dishes in the cabinet too. Up here, there's a cabinet above the refrigerator. That's where Mrs. Stewart keeps her really good dishes, so that they stay there unless it's Christmas time or Easter, when I'm going to have lots of people over. I use my really good dishes, but they stay up there in those cabinets until I need them. But then there's other rooms in the house too. There is something called, what is this? The bathroom, and we all have those in our houses too. Sometimes you just have one bathroom that you have to share. Maybe you have your own bathroom in your house that you might have to share, or that you don't have to share because it's your own bathroom and mommy has their bathroom. But there's usually a shower or bathtub. Maybe you have both. I know at some people's houses they have a shower and a bathtub. That's pretty cool. And then you always have where you go potty, and then there's a sink where you can brush your teeth and wash your face and wash your hands and things like that in the bathroom. And then there is this room right here. What's this called? The bedroom, and that's where you sleep, isn't it? And so maybe you have to share a bedroom with a brother or a sister, or you have your own bedroom. And most of every room, except for maybe not the bathroom, but sometimes the bathroom, and all the other rooms will have this right here that you can look outside. And what are those called?
Windows.
The windows, that's right. The windows are in your house. And those windows, should you ever climb out a window? No. Now, if it's an emergency and mommy says we need to, maybe if that's in case there's a fire or something, but we never go in and out through the windows. That's what the doors are for. But the windows are there so you can get some cool breeze that come into your house. Mommy can open the window and let the cool breeze in, or you can let the sunlight in through the window. And usually mommy will put some fun curtains on the window as well. And then what's this right here?
The roof.
The roof, that's right. Now remember, during Bible times, what could they do on the roof?
Sleep.
They could sleep up there or grow some gardens up there, but can we do that now? No, not usually. Yeah, now our houses are all kind of pointy up there. Now some apartment buildings and condominiums, they have kind of flat roofs up there, and sometimes people will grow gardens up there, or sometimes I've even seen in an apartment building where there was a pool on the roof. That's where the pool was. That was real, but it was so high, and it was really high, and it was really cool. But most of the time, most of the time our roofs are just like this, and so there is no way you could put a pool up there. And then what's that?
A door.
The doors. The doors, that's right, the doors. And this is, not only is it called a house, but it's also called a what?
Apartment.
Well, not an apartment, but it's called your home. What's it called?
Home.
Your home, that's right, it's called your home. And your home is made out of something. Do you know what it's made out of?
Wood.
Well, they use wood, but after they frame your house, that means they're going to use the wood to frame your house, to make the shape of your house. Then they use bricks, and they put the bricks, and they use the concrete, and they put all of it up to make it all pretty. So sometimes you could have red brick or brown brick or white brick on the outside of your house. Mrs. Stewart has red brick on the outside of my house. That's what I have on my outside. And so our houses are made of brick, and we can call our house a house or a home, or you can live in an apartment or a condominium. A condominium, is it really high or really little?
Really, really, really high.
Yes, really, really, really high. And a home could either be 2-story like this, or it can be just 1 story. That means you don't have stairs at your house. At this house, if you open up this door, you probably would see some stairs going upstairs to the bedroom and to the bathroom. But these are all fun things that you would find at your house. So when you go home today, you can go look around your house and see what your rooms are called. And you can say, this is the bathroom, this is our living room, this is our dining room. A dining room is usually where the big table is that mommy will sit at, and you will have your supper at. Sometimes people will have a kitchen that you eat in, and then when company comes over, you would sit in a dining room. But not every house has that, but some houses do. Isn't it fun to learn about houses and how different houses are different? Everybody's house is different. So it's neat to see your house, and when you go to other people's houses, you can see if they have a living room. That's really fun. Boys and girls watching, I hope you've enjoyed learning about your home. Maybe your home is really different. Maybe you have stairs at your home. Maybe you don't. But it would be fun to learn about each other's houses. And we need to take care of our home, don't we? God gave each of us a place to live. He takes good care of us, doesn't he? And it's fun to live in a home.